Hey folks, welcome back to the Pulse. It is a green candle Monday, March 13th, 1:30 Central Texas time. My name is Matt. This is Crypto Heartbeat. Welcome to the Pulse. Folks, we got our hand on the pulse. People are excited. I was watching Hexo earlier and he got me pumped up just like the early days of Hex. Man, I'll tell you what. Got some hopium for you today. We are up and to the right. We're going to examine all sorts of things as it relates to that. But isn't it amazing? There's some people that are crying, right? Go cry yourself to sleep on your enormous pillow, right? There's people that are crying, literally. They're scared. And here's the thing, folks. You have been shown the way. And it is really exciting to see how DeFi is performing in all of this. To think that this is a safe haven, that you've been warned ahead of time, that you know what's going on. Folks, today we got a great show for you. We have a surprise guest, and it's not who you think it is. It's someone new. And boy, he's a talent. That's going to come at the top of the hour. But today we're going to be talking about up and to the right. We're going to talk about what's happened, what's about to happen, and I'm going to pump your bags, folks. I'm going to blow your hair back. This is going to be one of those streams where I bring the energy, because there's something afoot, and you know this, and you've been here since the beginning, right? You've been here since the beginning. You've been here in the depths, the throes of all the difficult times in the bear market, and it takes catalysts, right? What is the catalyst? And that's what we're going to see, turning that money printer back on, right? Bailing it out. But folks, we're going to talk about the origin. Why are we in this situation and how do we need to see it? And what's it all for? And what are we doing this for? And you're going to get some stuff that you're not expecting today. You're going to get some perspective because I think where you come to the Pulse for is the counterintuitive wisdom, right? We see things differently. We understand that we're on a journey. It's a narrative. It's a story. We're forging our story. Why? Because we speak it into existence. All of this stuff is an agreement by us. We're taking back that which has been taken from us. And that's what it means to be in community, speaking things into existence. It's powerful because it's how everything has been created and how everything is created. And when you align yourself with the very nature of creation and you learn how to do it, it is absolutely incredible because the rules of the game are set up for love. Whoa, Crypto Heartbeat. You're saying everything is designed around love? Yes, because you can't go against the framework, my friends. You can try. You can try. You can temporarily rent yourself some fun, but it's temporary. What is the real stuff? What's the real currency? What's the real currency? Is it crypto? Is it Hex? Is it Texan? Is it Bitcoin? Is it Ethereum? No, my friends. The true, real currency is peace. Peace in your heart, regardless of the circumstances. And I'm going to show you how all of this is working together. It's absolutely tremendous. And folks, it is about as condensed and about as distilled down of hope as you can get. And we're going to be talking about some hopium. And I know there's somebody that needs this. They need a little shot of hopium today. Need to be encouraged, right? Babylon is burning around us. We're like, come on, let's go. Let's go. All right, let's check out the chat. See who's here. Say hello to the friends. You know what I love about this excitement? More people coming into the stream. The streams are always better. It's funny. I was looking back at videos and there was like 185 people at the top of the bull run and everybody went away. They're coming back. They're like a bear in hibernation, right? They're peeking out the door going, can we come out? Maybe one point we'll get Crypto Panda back. Wouldn't that be awesome? That is the ultimate groundhog, right? Crypto Panda comes back, pokes his head up. He's going to see, hey, is it springtime? Is it springtime yet? Yes. Springtime. Green grass, folks. The green candles all around. Crypto Compassion. We're on the move, winning together. Amazing. It's absolutely amazing what happens. But we are speaking it into existence. Crypto Compassion, thanks for being here. Andrew says hello. Well, he really says howdy. Howdy to you, Taryn. Let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to do it. Godfather J6 is here and ready to go. So is Sam Kemp. Up, and away. There is nothing greater than looking at your balance and going, huh, wow, I didn't know it could do that. I didn't know it could do that. We had the open mic on Texan Token this weekend, and Daniel Miller, who is the president, CEO, King Kamehameha of the TNM, which is the Texas Nationalist Movement, he came in and broke off some alpha for us in the voice chat. It was so great to have him. First time there. He told us what was going on, and you could just sense the excitement. I went to and I saw Sam Kemp. We did a live stream from the capital of Texas right when the bill was introduced, breaking news. And what was so cool is people came up to me, the volunteers for the TNM, and they're like, "Hey, man, thanks a lot." And this is before we hit this all-time high. I don't know if you know that, but the Texan token is at an all-time high. What? In a bear market? All-time high. When it opened and then it basically pumped, then it dumped, and now it's above the original pump price. All-time high at this time? Folks, where we're going, we don't need roads, if you know what I'm saying. Sam Kemp, good to see you, buddy. Hex Honcho in the house, Texas flag all the way, and Freddie Quotes. This is the guy who needs a shot of hopium. Am I right? Nothing like seeing Freddie Quotes' name in the green. You know what I'm saying? Here for the alpha. Let's hope there's some alpha. If nothing else, there's going to definitely be some excitement here. Texas Tailgate, let's go. Good to see you. Fishing Reality with the Dab and Hexaquin. Boy, folks, if you missed it last night, there's a new channel, a new Texan Tailgate channel, and it was so much energy, and Hexaquin was in that. And I'm going to tell you, when Hexaquin comes into your stream, it changes the very nature of things, right? It's way better. It's way better. So awesome to see you, Hexaquin. Thanks for being here. Hope everyone's having a great day. Texan Tailgate. We're gonna learn more about that channel today. Casey Hex, loving these green candles. Afternoon all, doesn't it? It kind of gives you a spring in your step. I've been looking around at what's happening. That's what we're going to kind of start with when we get into the content here. Hex on air, back on track. Immutable, what's up? Over 3. Wow, 4 zeros and a 3. We started at 4 zeros and a 1. Arc Hexagon, evening friends. Nice strings in there. Francis Powell's here. How's it going? It is going well. MT Coiner, how is your friend's son? And I hope and pray that things are okay. MT Coiner, great to see you. So glad that you shared with us this last time. Ari, welcome back. Talking about a guy that was in the voice chat. Ari, good to see you. I was telling a story about you this morning to ZZ Tesco. Ego Foundation, looking up. Thank you, Lord. Man, I'll tell you what, we need a springtime, don't we? If you're in Central Texas, the blue bonnets are starting to come out. And in Central Texas, when you see the blue bonnets on the side of the roads, that's springtime, the sign of springtime in Texas, the blue bonnets. Nelson, what's going on? Good afternoon from Toronto, Canada. Our friends up north, love to have you here. Thanks for being here, Nelson. Good vibes from Mark Hexagon. Arian, is that right? Arian? Crypto, hello from Poland. Great to see you. JB, hey, Crypto Heartbeat, good to see you. Chief, there you go. The King Kamehameha. Samantha, thanks for all that you do. Anders is here. Daniel, I'm excited already about what is to be said. Oh, fantastic. Thanks for looking forward to that. Crypto Pay, hello, Matt. Absolutely love what you do. Thanks so much for your passion and wisdom. Hey, doing what we can, right? Everybody brings something to the table. I'll bring what I've got. You bring what you've got. But recognize this. In Crypto Pay, you're making a great point here. Here's the thing. We all give a piece of ourselves. What is our creative ability? What is money? It's just a representation of your labor. And what is your label? Your labor is your contribution. It's a piece of you. You are giving that, and they give you something in exchange for it, right? You sweat, and they give you something, right? You drive the truck. You do whatever it is. That's you. It's your creative ability. If you could outsource it to your dog, you would, but you can't. You have to do it. And I think about the person I got a friend who's a trauma surgeon, and nobody else can do that for him. So he has to go in to work every day and have all of these things. And he's saving lives and doing amazing things. And it blows me away. I'm so glad that life and death is not in my hands, but he's the guy who has to do it. That is his creative ability, his education, his dexterity, all of that stuff. Folks, it's incredible. CryptoPay, thanks for bringing what you have creatively in you to the table. Drix, another example. He's bringing the love with his new track called Lattice Stakes. Happy all-time high Monday. Grabbed a little Ophir too. Well, you wouldn't be able to grab Ophir, but you would be able to donate to GemEffect, and I think that's what you're saying, Drix. Folks, the Ophir token, ophircrypto.com is where you can find them. So thanks for bringing that up. I really appreciate that. Folks, there is a donation phase just like there was with Texan Token. And if you go to ophircrypto.com, you can find out more information. And this is the project in the Philippines, 3,000 plus churches, an amazing community of people in the Philippines. And you can give a donation to GemEffect and you can learn about the organization. And that's how we're doing token distribution for Ophir in the Philippines. And that's what Drix is talking about. Awesome, Drix. Thanks for that, man. I certainly appreciate that. Good day, all. Made a live one. Good times ahead. Freddie quotes. Freddie quotes. What's going on? Rich Liberation. Respect the pump. There you go. Paul Op, the 7th. Good to see you. Rich Liberation. Let's set the captives free. ZZ Tesco is in the house. Literally. Moonrunner. Hey, Matt and all. I miss the Panda too. But we'll bring him back. Where in the world is Crypto Panda? We'll find him. Glad to be here. A great community of smart crypto nerds. That's right. Sodman, what's up, man? Triple X, it has been a while. Hello from Holland. See, they're coming out of the woodwork, folks. Triple X is back. Hex Bean, what's up, everyone? What's up, Crypto Heartbeat? Davis, see, even Davis here. I got wrecked on USDC. I sold my dry powder 93 cents per dollar. Scared I was going to get it. Yeah, and it repegged. Davis, great to have you here, man. We go through it all with each other, don't we? Hexagon, sup all, all-time high. There you go. Mobius, what's going on? Wow, you guys are crazy. And Crypto 7, dude. Okay, Crypto 7, folks. If you don't follow his channel, one, you need to. This guy is absolutely killing it. You want to talk about hope and excitement in the future? Crypto 7 is the guy. Man, he is literally absolutely killing it. He is not internationally known, but he's known to rock the microphone. You know what I'm saying? Amazing streamer and just blowing up. Just imagine Crypto 7, what it's going to be like when we really, truly get confirmation that we are going up and to the right for a long time here into the next bull run. This is exciting. We don't know what the future will hold and what everything is, but it is awesome. And you're doing an amazing job for the community, helping keep people get through the bear market. Amazing work. Samantha, fire, grab, what's up? All right, Crypto Pay, Texan token price feed on Nomics has been down for a couple days now. Yeah, so they cut Hedron and they cut us. We're figuring that out, but we'll see. We don't need them. We do not need some random coin marketing site, right? That's the beauty. Think about Hex. Hex is number 7 of all crypto. Number 7 right now in market cap, right? Number 7. Remember when they pushed us back down and then other people said, 201 on coin market cap. We don't need them because at the end of the day, that's what makes us so powerful is the community, the organic nature, the grassroots nature of it. That's real solid foundation. Whereas people that are expecting, well, I had to have banner ads and marketing and all this. No. You need loyal people telling each other where the food is. And that's what made Hex so great. Never listed on centralized exchange. And aren't you glad? Same thing. This is true DeFi. Welcome. Anders says, hello to Crypto 7. You bet, dude. You're an amazing guy. We need to get together and do a stream because you got it going on. Yeah, love that. What's up, Gabe? Good to see you. All right, let's get down to business. No, you didn't miss a thing, AZ Electric. You came in right on time. Thanks for being here, folks. It's encouraging to me to see so many people in this stream. Thanks for being here. Let's get into the content. So up and to the right, I want to talk about this from a number of different perspectives. Obviously, Silicon Valley Bank has been given over to the FDIC, right? And they're bailing them out. You've probably seen a number of things that are going on. Brandon went through an amazing breakdown yesterday. So if you want kind of the details of that, I would encourage you to check out Brandon's Rags to Riches on YouTube, his stream from last night or yesterday. It was very, very well done on what is really going on. But I want to talk about the real big story here, and that is fractional reserve banking. So many of you know this, but when you're a bank in the United States or a regional bank, every dollar that you get on deposit, you can essentially turn around and leverage it. And Richard Hart's talked about this a lot, right? The three L's: liquor, ladies, leverage. Well, the very nature of our system to make sure that there's enough liquidity in the market is that they allow banks who are supposedly regulated to be able to take a dollar and get 10 more, right? So this fractional reserve banking enables you to leverage your collateral with these federal, the banks, right? So Federal Reserve gives the money at the cheapest rate to the banks themselves so they can lend that out. It's built on the back of leverage, the whole thing. And, there's a lot of reasons for it. But at the end of the day, what's happened over time? Well, since the whole Federal Reserve System started, we have literally debased our currency. And there's an expectation that we have that everything just inflates. But I think it was K4K who said this. I mean, it's got to be a year or more now. Is really the first time I heard it. Was, here's the thing: if in fact there was no inflation rate, let's say it was DeFi, true DeFi, and there was no inflation rate, actually as things got better, that actually things would get cheaper, not more expensive, right? More efficiencies, all those kind of things, and prices would go down. But in reality, because we have essentially grown up in a system which we expect growth and we expect inflation, well, now bad things happen, right? Banks fail and we bail them out. So we print more money. And then COVID happens and then we print what, 9 trillion more dollars? So when you start putting that much money and just printing it out of thin air and you're surprised that the prices go up, I'll tell you what, folks, this feels like a rerun of the Carter administration. The Carter administration. I mean, if you look at interest rates at that time, they were 17 to 19%. Right? And we're talking what, 5% right now. So this is really interesting. They raised rates so fast that basically things broke. And it's interesting that those things that broke were, the only banks that were really banking technology companies that had, you made big investments from an investment firm. They put it at Silicon Valley Bank. A lot of the big firms were there. A lot of the startup companies were there. And it's Silicon Valley, folks. And so what's really interesting is I think the ramifications of this. The ramifications of it are that it gives the regular guys like you and me, we don't have it affects sentiment, right? And so we are concerned, hey, is my money safe? And that's the problem with contagion, right? This stuff is highly contagious. And so even if the government and Biden and Janet Yellen and all these people come and say, it's okay, we're going to take care of this, we'll kick the can down the road, we'll bail these folks out, we'll find buyers, we'll shore this thing up. You still can't take back what's already happened. And that is confidence, right? Volatility increases and people's confidence goes down. So sentiment is really important. But here's the thing I would submit to you. I follow a guy named Martin Armstrong, and I would highly encourage you to do the same. Martin Armstrong is an amazing person, economist. But what he talks about is he says, there's nothing aside from confidence. And he's done research all the way back to the beginning of currency. And when you look at empires and you look at how they fail, they always fail by not paying back their sovereign debt. So they basically spend themselves out of existence. And that's the story of empires falling, ultimately, because they'll debase their currency. And we see this when we look at coinage in the Roman Empire. And so he's tracked all of that, put it into a computer system. And it's called Socrates. That's the name of his computer system that really was using machine learning and AI stuff before it was popular. But what's amazing is what's popped out of this system is the framework of the human heart. Isn't that crazy? You know how people talk about, I look at the moon cycles and I determine how I trade. Well, here's if you look out far enough, what you see is the condition of the human heart and the story of life. Because we have a cycle to our lives. And if you think about sentiment and you think these things repeat each other, it's a wave. They talk about how they don't, repeat, but they certainly do rhyme. Well, what's come out of this model is a pi signal, 3.14, right? So there's this cycle and I would suggest it's actually modeling human behavior. Because think about this. You get to a certain point. I'm 50 years old now. You get a little bit of experience. You read some ancient documents. You have faith. You go through difficult times. You learn some things, right? And then you pop out some kids and they think they're the smartest people in the world, but they're idiots just like you were at their age, right? Sound familiar? And then we got to train that group up and then they got to bump their head against the wall and knock into the guardrails. And then they learn, oh, yeah, yeah, these things break when you knock into them, and then we forget, right? Then granddad dies and forget his name. And I don't want to be like, oh, depress you. But these cycles, if you look at them for far enough back, you realize, hold on, this is actually the the cycles of life. And so there was a book called Generations. It was written, and I know many of you know that book, which talks about kind of generations as it relates to kind of these 80-year blocks of time. And they would say today we are in what's called the crisis era. And this crisis era leads into a new renaissance, right? So the next time when things go up and to the right and things are great is that we solve these problems. But right now, it's been in a downward trend into this crisis era. And so what do we see across the world? We see unrest, right? People unhappy. I mean, Texas independence. I mean, hello, why is this a thing? Because the current system has gotten too gangly, too out of control, too oppressive. And it gets to a certain point where people are more likely to suffer than change. And so they literally just pull the ripcord and they say, no, you've gone too far. And that's what so commonly happens, and this cycle repeats itself. And so the beauty of this is, you've probably heard people say this: buy low and sell high. How many people do we know that see the green candles and they buy high and sell low? It's so common, right? And so here's the thing: credit goes to you. You're in this chat, you're listening to this stuff, you understand DeFi, and you've made it through a bear market. Are there potentially black swan events coming? Absolutely. But here's the big thing. When I looked at the chart today of Bitcoin and I think at its high, it was up 17% in a day. I want you to understand something. Do you know how much money has to go into Bitcoin for it to move up 17% in one day? It is so big. It's about $500 billion in market cap. The liquidity is super, super thick. What does it take to move Bitcoin 17%? Do you realize how many people have literally lost confidence in the fractional reserve banking system and have put things into stores of value like Bitcoin? Do you recognize what this means? Ethereum's the same way. Hex is the same way. Texan, you benefit from it. There's a thing called Hart's Law, and it's Richard Hart's Law. What is that? When you have pairs that are bonded together, they move together. So let's say you have a Hex Ethereum pair. As Ethereum moves up, so does Hex move up, right? They're bonded together. One of the things we've always prayed for in crypto is that we would decouple from the stock market. So here's the really interesting thing about it. We've been correlated to it. Why? Because of the fact that the institutional money hasn't jettisoned off the old system yet. And so what happened is we got into this issue of runaway inflation, and they raised the rates too quickly, and these banks broke. Well, what does that say? This is an opportunity. It could be where we see a decoupling. Why? Because institutions and people who have real money aren't going to find their yield in treasury bills. They're not going to find their yield in US securities. They want to see the big yields. And the only place they're going to see that is in the gains that are in crypto. It's got another run to make. And I'm going to tell you, folks, this next one could be a monster. And so the question is, do you want credit for just showing up? You can get credit for just showing up. That's what we get to do. That's why buying and holding, right? That's why the tokenomics of trustless yield with things like Hex and Texan makes sense, because it's like, hey, you don't need to be trading. I think a lot of people misunderstand. They think crypto is FTX, and they think that trading is what people should do. No, 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 no. It's buying and holding, because what we're doing is accumulating a piece of ourselves, right? The proxy for your labor is a representation of you. So we get together in a trustless yield scenario in an immutable contract, and we build economic energy. We build trust and community. And that is our version of fiat. So welcome to Hexaco. What does that mean? It means that's why this community is so powerful, because we decided Richard said this long ago. He said, our made up internet money is better than the government's made up internet money. It's a forced agreement when it comes to national borders. This is a consensual agreement based on immutability, folks. If that doesn't blow your hair back, nothing's gonna. This is an amazing time in human history. And it's now, it's like, some people, it's kind of like, I think about Jesus himself, right? There's a man on the cross next to him, and he's like, oh, yep, surely you say you are. And he says, today you'll be with me in paradise. But then there were disciples that were hanging out with this dude. He was like, hey, folks, I'm gonna I'm gonna tear apart this temple and raise it again in 3 days. And they're like, what? How are you going to possibly do that? And then still after he was raised from the dead, Thomas is like, I'm not going to believe unless I can stick my hand in your side. It's amazing. There are even people who will see up and to the right and all of this stuff, and they still won't believe it. What a crazy reference, right? I'm comparing Hex to Jesus. Well, in a way, there is another connection there, and that is knowing about Hex and holding T-shares are two different things, my friends. Knowing about it ain't having it. And that's the truth about the gospel as well. Folks, it is my pleasure, because we're coming up on the top of the hour, and our guest is in the green room. And what a perfect place to be, in the green room. Nobody wants to be in the red room. They want to be in the green room. Right? Am I right? Folks, it is my pleasure, partly because I saw something last night that I haven't seen in a long time, and that is true talent. He's been hidden under a bushel in my mind from me because I think Brandon has been keeping him all to himself. Seriously, I think Brandon has found a golden goose, and he's like keeping it back in his backyard. And he's like, nope, you can't have this one. You can't see this one. Last night, I saw a light shine, and that's who's coming on right now, folks. You think it's Brandon from Rags to Riches, but it's not. He is not only tribal, he is gifted. He is a man who is talent, a true artist, and someone who has a giving soul, nature, and heart. He makes sounds, folks. And you know what's funny is they say, if a tree falls in a forest and no one's around, does it make a sound? And I say it does. Folks, welcome to the Pulse for the first time. Forrest. Tribal Sounds. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How are you doing? What a great intro. Thank you.
Dude, you got the voice. You blew my mind last night, by the way.
Oh, man. I'm glad that you were there to hear it, man. I was so not expecting that.
Dude, you're a reluctant guy. I know you're very, very what shall I say? You're humble. And I appreciate that about you. But I know what love is. I know what it is. I know when I see it, bro. I know when I see it. And you know you got it. It's just people that got it don't want to flaunt it. And I know you got it. And I see it.
I am a student forever and always.
I know. And that's what makes you great. So, folks, this is Forrest Baldwin. You'll know him as Tribal Sounds. That's his company, what he does. But you're a real good friend with Brandon, right? You go way back.
Yeah, man, we go back like Foursquare.
Okay. Foursquare. So tell me about that. So really, Brandon's been a friend of yours. How long have you known him? What's that story about?
Yeah, so Brandon and I have probably known each other now for 7 years. He and I worked at a company, a communications company together. He was actually the one who brought me into it.
Oh, cool.
And he's also the one who brought me into crypto. And he taught me some first fundamentals and everything a couple of years ago. So he onboarded me and let me kind of like figure things out on my own, which I totally respect. He is very good about that, like making me educate myself. And I'm a huge fan of that. And he's one of my best friends, man.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. So I was reading on Tribal Sounds website, and folks, if you get a chance, I'm gonna actually throw this up into. I want you to see Forrest's website here. Share the screen. Tribal Sounds, evoke your muse. I was reading about you, and if you guys want to drill in a little bit more about who Forrest is, he shares that on his website here. But I was checking out your story here,
Yeah.
and it was really, really intriguing to me. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about kind of about background and all that? Well,
I would love to. I would love
okay.
that, man.
So, um, so tell me about the name Forrest and your kind of your heritage, because I think that's a big part of your story.
Yeah. So, my name is Forrest, not after Gump, like a lot of folks actually would think, but I was born before the movie, so my family gave it to me. And no Native American background to the name
Okay.
necessarily. It
Okay.
was just a nice name. It means protector of the forest, and it's a loose translation. But I was born and raised on the Cherokee Indian Reservation in Western North Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah, man, and I was there till I was 13. I moved from there into the moonshine capital of the world when I was 13. So it was an eye opening experience because I was a homeschooled kid raised in church. My family was big into church and to gospel, and that was
Wow.
my upbringing. And then we moved from there to probably the most farmlandish area I've ever seen. So shell shock happened, and from there I went to Boston, Massachusetts, studied at Berklee College of Music there,
Wow.
and I left school actually and went to play professionally for a number of years. And from then on out, I found out I was going to be a dad. Set up roots in a local area, and this is where I'm at now.
That's it. The
Yeah,
rest is
man.
history, man. Well, that's incredible. So I think it's cool. In crypto, there's a lot of artists. And I think that there's something about the community and the freedom. And, one of the things I appreciate about true artistry is that you've got to push the boundaries. And I think that crypto represents this idea of, hey, we're going to push back on the norms. We're not always following the rules. And I think that attracts a lot of people who are artists. Do you see that same commonality in crypto where there's like, you got some freedom to kind of push your elbows out, if you will?
Absolutely, yeah, man. One of the biggest attractants for me for the like the freedom of your economic energy, it reminds me of the freedom of speech as the artist. So
Yeah.
for me, there's nothing that's more important than the ability to say what I feel in the most honest and transparent way possible. A lot of the things that I see nowadays. Prohibit that in ways, and I don't agree with it, and it allows me a different mouthpiece to speak out against those things that I feel oppress folks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. Totally. So you have started your own channel called Texan Tailgate, right?
Yeah,
Which I
man.
caught last night for the first time, which is awesome. We'll talk about that in a second, but I want to talk about this because one of the cool things I think about you, folks don't know. So Forrest is the guy who does all these clips of all of the videos that Brandon and I do. He's the one that did that cool intro with the bluesy riff for Texan Token. He's done a lot of the clips and pulling things out. What's that been like for you? Have you enjoyed doing that? Because you're doing an incredible job. Dude. You got a sensitivity that I think is fantastic.
Yeah, it's been an amazing experience, honestly, because I've had the fortunate benefit of being able to review the tapes, so to speak, and like go in and not just hear the message, but sometimes hear the message twice or three times and let it really like sink in to myself. And I think that throughout my tenure with you all, it's been amazing, man. I mean, it's. I started off and I was like, "What is going to happen here? What's going
Yeah,
on? I don't really know what's happening or what you all are looking for." But like, the message is so compelling, and like it has never once switched. And I think that my hats off to you all. I think that everything that is Texan and everything that is Texan Token and the community that's built with it is so genuine and honest, man.
dude. You know what? So it's beginning to be springtime, and it's a theme in many ways. Here in Central Texas, we're seeing it. You're probably seeing it where you are a little bit. It's kind of waking up here. And when that there's a flower that's about to bloom. You know what I'm talking about? Kind of like the tulip is closed, the flower is closed. That is you in my mind. You are a flower about to go boop. And Samantha said it. The gem behind the scenes is emerging, and I see that too. And I'm super excited because I feel you're going to be somebody who is going to really bring a lot of joy to people. Your energy last night, I was just smiling ear to ear going, this is real. This is real stuff. And I love it. And I want to encourage you. That's why I wanted to have you on. I just want
Yeah.
you to hear this. You're a special person. You have a lot to offer and give. And you know this. You studied music. You've performed all over the place. You're a producer. You're a singer songwriter. You're a talent, but you're also humble and you're authentic. And I just want to encourage you more than anything. Let your light shine, my brother, because it is going to be good for everyone in the community. And I just love it. So tell me about Texan Tailgate and why you're doing this and what it's about, how it happened.
Yeah, so a couple of the community members and myself just kind of started spitballing ideas and brainstorming about a way that we could get together in community and and hang out and have a good time. So the name was proposed, this Texan Tailgate, and I loved it because it is the namesake of everything and how we all met each other. And it's just a space where like you can come and have a good time and talk about your favorite projects that are in the DeFi the ecosystem and within the freedom-based ecosystem that you all represent. In addition to that, we can just cut up and really get to know each other on a personal level and just continue to grow adjacent to one another.
Yeah, totally. Well, what do we have? We've got, annoying content from Brandon. You come on Crypto Heartbeat and you get preached at the whole damn time. It's about time we had some fun. Am I right? We need
Man.
something that's not so like I'm getting beat up by Brandon, I'm getting preached at by Matt, and now I get to have some fun with Forrest.
That's what I'm talking about. I'll be that. It's a blast, man. Everyone made it so much fun. I'll tell you, like last night, there was a 30-minute segment that no one saw.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was live.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
Yeah. It was awesome.
So me and David were in there just talking each other up, really.
Yeah. Well, dude, we got 86 people here. Do you mind breaking us off? So you had said, hey, I wrote this little thing in 10 minutes about freedom, and I want people to get a taste of some Forrest Baldwin. I really do. Do you mind sharing a little bit with us?
I would love to. That would be my pleasure.
All right, folks. So Forrest is going to get himself ready to share this. He did this last night, just impromptu. They're like, hey, here's something I just worked on. And it moved me. And this was like the moment I kind of saw something. I just want you to share because, Forrest studied studied music. He was a performer. And it's funny, if you don't have an audience, you don't have a place to share this stuff, I almost feel like it's a part of expression and a gift that so few people have, and when you see it, you know it. And I saw it last night, and I want to bless you with Forrest. So Forrest, go ahead whenever you're ready, buddy.
Yeah, man. So this is what we like to call a whip, a work in progress. So if there's anyone who wants to lay some additional tracks, just let me know and we'll make it happen. I was born to bring storms, thunder echo spirit brought to life, lightning striking by my side. And then they came for me, tried to tell me freedom is not free. Am I the only one without my head up in the clouds? They worship anything around. Gotta keep my feet on solid ground. This will be where we put Crypto Heartbeats verse. It's not free. Am I the only one without my head up in the clouds? They worship anything around. Gotta keep my feet on solid ground.
Wow. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, this is like, you know what I got out of that? I got these vibes of like soulful, deep, kind of gritty John Mayer. That's
Nice.
what I got, man, out of that. You like John Mayer?
I love John Mayer, man. He was actually the driving force behind me going to Berkeley.
No way, man. I hear it. I hear it in that.
Yeah, I found John, like, so I was raised in a super very strict household, so I didn't listen to anything besides country music and gospel growing up.
Awesome.
But whenever I discovered mainstream music, I discovered the bargain bin at Walmart.
Yeah.
I found Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Metallica, and John Mayer,
Oh my gosh.
and it birthed my love and passion. I didn't have any interest until I was 13, and they inspired me big time.
Well, and what's so cool is I understand, raw vocals versus produced stuff. And the fact that you can do that with, just flat raw vocals to me is incredible because I can just imagine you start producing that and you start putting in, all the compression and you got something special, dude. That is a cool song. And it's not campy. It's really, really good, man. I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
that.
much. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sensitive to these things and not everyone appreciates what you do because you're breaking off a piece of yourself and you're giving it to us. And that's what I recognized last night. And I appreciate what you just did. That was fantastic, dude.
Man, I appreciate the platform, man. You didn't even have to do all that. It's been so nice
No.
being here, man.
Well, it's so funny though, dude. I'm an advocate. That's my core thing.
Mhm.
And when I see stuff like this that's special, it's not meant to be kept under a bushel, right? We gotta let our light shine out there. And everyone's got something to offer. And so when you see something like this happen, I just want to fan the flame of passion in your heart, man. I just want to blow on it. Just blow on it. That's right. Dude, but you got energy, man. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
So
I'm
what
hungry.
is your Brandon's obviously the one that brought you into crypto, and you've been doing obviously work for us and clipping stuff up and all that. What's your sense of this? Like, tell me, what's your journey been like in crypto?
So, whenever I first found out about crypto, it was probably like 6 years ago, and like that was whenever everyone was getting really hyped on Bitcoin, and it was doing some things, and I dismissed it truly, like just because was just only really knowing the legacy system and how mom and dad like would put money away in a pillowcase or like bury it. My gramps would bury it. So like for me, it was like just way too scary and too weird of an environment. Now, as time progressed, I began to see that there were actual gains happening from a lot of folks that I knew personally, in addition to like people that I would reference online. So about 2 years ago is whenever I took the dive, and I definitely Rags Brandon was kind enough to share with me those first principles. So like
Yep.
everything that I've been involved with exclusively is DeFi and immutable. So we've got Texan is one of the ones that I'm really hyped on, and of course Hex, man.
Yeah.
Like, so really between those two and with what we got going on Pulse Chain and Pulse X, whenever it comes out, like that is everything to me, and really the only things that currently outside of projects that haven't released yet that I'm really involved with and super hyped on.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. You got fans now, by the way, in the chat here. We got KD's like, bring it on, Forrest.
What's up?
Amazing. Paul's like, cool. Drix is loving it. Very cool
Awesome.
riff. Crypto ethos. Freddie with the fire. And you know what? Freddie Coates, when you get a compliment from Freddie Coates, he knows what it looks like, if you know what I'm saying. So
Awesome.
that's a big one. Freddie with that. He's bullish. Just tuned in and blown away by this talent. Keeping your feet on the solid Texas ground.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Roof Dog. Amen. Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. And of course, he's like, Crypto Heartbeat, stop blowing on his fan in the flame of his heart. Come on. He's like, I can't handle it. And immutable, of course, with the fire.
Fantastic.
So it's cool to see you. So tell me about Texan Tailgate. How often are you going to be doing that? Because I want to encourage everybody to subscribe to your channel so you can get as many faces on it as you can.
Yeah, so every Sunday we're going to do it 2100 hours Eastern Standard, so at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll just make it a recurring weekly thing. That way, it's not taxing on anyone. It happens at a time space that, to my knowledge, there isn't anyone else who's doing streams. So we just wanted it to be a place where you can unwind and chill for the evening. We'll do it one time a week starting out. I'll probably go through and clip out pieces to make shorts and whatnot, spread awareness of the DeFi projects that I'm a part of and the community's a part of. But outside of that, man, I really want to bring on other artists. We've seen people make wonderful logos and in the graphic design space within the community. So I would love to have folks who are maybe introverted naturally like myself and bring them out, and also bring people who aren't normally confident in the crypto space, because I myself, I've never claimed to be the most knowledgeable in any of it, right? Like I'm still learning too. So like I want it to be a place where folks like that can feel safe and to feel like can be a part of something that is what they're after, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, totally, dude. That's fantastic. Well, youtube.com/at Texan Tailgate. So I tried to search it. When you search in the bar, it's not showing up yet because there's only like one piece of content there. So folks, you're going to have to actually put it into the browser as at Texan Tailgate. And would you guys go there, open up a tab and subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you can see this on Sunday nights. Now, the big question is Hexy Quinn going to be on each Sunday night? That's my question.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'll just blow her phone up until she hops on.
That's perfect. Well, Forrest, I would have to say, I think that there's, you know, every man knows that you need to make sure that you're playing to your strengths, and you got so many skills. But I'll tell you what, having Hexy Quinn on is only going to help you. It's only gonna help you. So this is fantastic. She's like, "Yes, sir, I'll be there." Fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, she adds a great perspective to everything. It'll be so cool to see you guys. Here's the thing I got from last night, and I'm kind of going on about this because I'm so intrigued by it. It's you were joking. You did the outro. Like, folks, you got to see like the last 20 minutes of that thing. The joy and just it's hard to even identify. It was so fun. I found myself like once again smiling. And you know what it reminded me of? In the early days of Hex, when I saw it on a TV ad at 2 a.m. after taking my Metamucil, I literally went and tuned into Hexo. And you weren't there at the beginning, but in those days, the infectiousness of Hexo. And honestly, I'm kind of like, partially it's a little bit selfish of me because I see in something in you that I think will attract a lot of people to our community. And it's just sharing joy with people, sharing laughter, sharing, a part of yourself, and having a place you can go where you don't feel like I'm here for the news or I'm here for some like profound breakthrough. I'm here to just tailgate, chill, hang out.
Exactly. And man, it's so hard for me not to cheeseball all the time, man.
Good,
Like
though.
you see these cheeks, man. I can't stop.
I do.
Oh my goodness. No.
Do you know this person here? This is another.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know that person. That's the most wonderful person I've ever known in life.
Oh, that is so fantastic, man. All right. John May says, I'm all signed up for the Texan Tailgate. Fantastic. Wes Brandt says, Hexy is awesome. David Lee, another example, David Lee showing the love to people. And, I titled this stream Up and to the Right. And what I wanted to really call it was doing what's right. But that doesn't bring in anybody. They're like, no, I want the green candles, man. But if you think about doing what's right by other people, right? And that's really the big story here is I want people to recognize that when you do right by people, right, you treat them right, you do what's right, you make good choices, you share with people, you care for them, you love them like David Lee did to me and continues to do to so many people, it's hard to go wrong. And I almost feel like we essentially are accumulating and multiplying blessing when we make a series of right choices. And I think of anyone that's been in struggles or been in difficulties or dealt with addiction or has had relational issues or mental illness and all that stuff, it's one foot in front of the other, right? And we accumulate this, and there's essentially a building up of blessing that comes from that. Any thoughts about that or commentary, what that makes you think about?
Man, I was just sitting here in thought, actually, man. I don't think I could say it better than you just said it. I think that being able to free ourselves from how negative everything is, man. Like I feel like in the crypto space, this is the one of the fewest. Like, I mean, I don't know of any other groups of folks who get together and hype each other up. Like it's a sales force, right? Like it feels like that, like huddle together, guys, we're going to do this. But like everyone's just really together lifting one another. And I think that that's a unique attribute that you don't really find, and it's special. And holding on to things that are special and not guarding them away from folks, but bringing it to everybody. I think that's, I don't know. I don't know that answers the question, but that's what it makes me think of.
No, that's totally great. That's totally, I mean, man, it's so cool to have you in this community. And, Brandon's been bragging about you for a long time. And last night I was just like, hold on a second. Now I see it. Now I see it. So let me ask you this. What is your passion, man? What are you just absolutely passionate about? What blows your hair back?
Writing songs specifically.
Okay.
I think that is my passion, is being a lyricist.
Yeah.
Because it feels like a blessing
Yeah.
whenever words are bestowed, right?
Yeah. They're
Like
given to you. Yeah.
it oftentimes, like, I'm still amazed by how it continues to just inspire me. Like
Yep.
I feel like they show up sometimes, and I never forced them. Like
Yeah.
I never wanted to force them, because that's not authentic, right?
Yep.
And also, I've never believed in writer's block, because I believe that if you just are passionate about something and you refine that through time
Yep.
and doing, the blessings exponentially grow.
Yeah.
So like that's my passion. I would say that, and I love playing any instrument. You can see the keyboard back here, the bass.
Okay.
Just music in general has been always for me the closest connection to God. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what I would define it as, because those are the moments where I'm not here. I'm somewhere else in my mind and in place and comforted, and I think that that's a really strong thing. If it's okay, I do want to share a story.
Yes, please.
So this this is a brief my experience and testimony to things. And I won't make it too preachy, but whenever I was like 4 years old, I had bacterial giardia, and it almost took me out. Like I was supposed to die in the hospital. Folks came together in community and prayed around me, my family and friends, and I lived through that. Again, whenever I was 9, I got West Nile encephalitis,
Oh
and
man.
I was put in a coma for about 11 days. I don't remember any of it, right? Like, and I just kind of was existing in a gray area. But there was a comfort there, and there was a peace there. And that's what I had as reference. And again, people came together in community around me, and through prayer and through the doctors it blew their mind, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
because it was miraculous. To come back from those things. So I had to learn how to like read and write and run, and like my family, bless my family, my mom and my dad, because they helped me become a 13-year-old me again. And I owe a lot to what I see as God, and I owe a lot to the folks who have come together to allow me to be here. So that's the story I wanted to share. I don't want to get emotional, man. It's like it's
Yeah.
tough. That's a lot of the times, man, while I stay in the shadows,
Yeah. Yep.
because you can't always say those things, right? And that goes back to the freedom piece,
Yep.
because now like instead of loving one of another, we persecute people sometimes, especially in the media outlets. They persecute one side against the other, and they wage war from one side to the other, and all that we have to do is love one another.
Yeah.
So that's my little piece.
Dude, I love it. Well, you know what's so cool about it, and that's where the artist in you, and I'm going to tie all this together. You just said writing songs, and I think that there's some people who don't see this or know what it is. Folks, I'm going to tell you something. There's a veil that's very, very thin, and as you get closer to it, and I think there are certain people like you, Forrest, who are sensitive to that. Right? You're an introverted guy, but you're thinking a lot. You got a tender heart towards things. You're open. And as a performer too, you're used to having to put yourself out there, even when it may not be a normal thing to do. But when you're writing and you're expressing something, true artists are those who sometimes don't have the words for it, but have to express it in a more rich way. And a lot of times it's through art, right? We're creating something, and that gets translated. But what's so amazing, I've talked to so many people who are artists like you, and they say, you know what? This song was a gift to me. These words were a gift to me. And it's almost as if they were passed across a veil and handed to you. And when it's right. And when you're just like, this is kind of me doing my thing. And then you just get this, like, it's like a breath in. It's like, it's like an inspiration. And you're almost like a little bit standoffish going, what just happened? It came to me. And I think that, if you think about this, ZZ Tesco, Ray, who's, big time nerd developer guy, he would say, if you think about electricity through a wire, there's always resistance. And it's like there's some point you get to in the creative process where you have no resistance. And it's almost like you become superconducting, and there's something that's handed across the veil to you. And so when you testify to a miracle and people coming around you and going, hey, if it wasn't for these people, it wasn't for these doctors, it wasn't for these circumstances, I wouldn't have such an appreciation for these things. And I agree with you. You put yourself out there, and especially the younger you are, people stomp on you. They're critics of things. And I think that what we're building here in crypto and what we're building with this community is so special because it's giving people room to express and say, hey, whatever. And I look at Thothschild, for example, and you, and just people that are artists, and Freddie quotes and all this stuff. And it's like, no, let's give people room to breathe, because I think that is actually what we were really meant for. And what's happened is that all this evil in this world is basically saying, make yourself feel better by putting somebody else down. And I think this community is one in which we say, no, leave room for Forrest, leave room for everyone to say, you know what, I don't have it all together. And you know what, there are miracles and there are gifts across the veil, and this isn't all there is. So I appreciate that testimony.
Yeah, I think that's a great summary of everything. Honestly, man, I'm really thankful to be here, and what you just said, creating room for everybody, because it's the same mentality as even Texan. Like, we are blessed with abundance, and there is so much to go around.
Isn't that the truth? And what's amazing about this is there's a moment in every stream where something special happens. You shared that with the song, but we're going to have another moment. Are you okay with that?
Oh, I would love it.
All right, let's have another moment.
He's not only the CEO, he's the CFO, the CIO, the CMO, the CTO. He's the supreme I done told you. He's the mayor of Sassy City, the commander of couch cushion maintenance. In the islands, he's known as Kinkamaya Maya. He's my ace in the hole, my kid Creole, my Bob Dole. He's not internationally known, but he's known to rock the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, the gentle, ginger, giant, genius, and the professor of potent pontification, Brandon from rags to riches.
Brandon from Rags to Riches.
What an intro.
I had to show up because you guys are getting soft in here, and I just
I
want to
know.
let chat know the philosophical, mushy stuff. God, we got crypto to do here, all right?
Nice.
Dude,
Bringing it in.
I discovered what you had been hiding from us this whole time, and that's Forrest Baldwin, dude.
Listen, man, you know what? I'm a good salesman.
You are.
Now, it's the subtle art of making people think they're having it their way. All right. So, I've been working on Forrest a while, but then again, he's probably working on me too because he's a good salesman too.
Yeah, that is the truth. That is the truth. Well, Rags, welcome back, man. What's the latest? What do you think? What's the prognosis here?
Dude, so let me share this with you.
Okay.
This might make you feel a little fuzzy. Just a little bit. Which one is this here? Let me make sure. Okay. Yeah. All right. So check this out.
Ooh, man.
We just had a big one. We just had a nice big one. That feels good, man.
What is that number?
That is 32.7.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow. What does it say to you? Because your expectations, you said to me, hey, there's going to be 120 days of dumping. This is different than what you expected.
Yeah, and here's what I know about charts. I've been through this whole thing where I've just like FOMO'd in and I've gotten crazy and this and that. Here's what I know. At some point, the chart's going to go down, and it is what it is. That's part of this whole process. So while it's going up, it's freaking awesome. You know, I want to share when it goes down too, because I don't want to put people on tilt in a FOMO way. Right. But man, while it's happening, it certainly feels great. Feels great.
Well, it's weird to say all-time high in a scenario like this. It's weird in this kind of part of the market, but you know, it looks like if they do turn the money printers back on and people do see crypto as a safe haven, especially DeFi projects with trustless yield, this means that we launched literally the week of the bottom.
Yeah.
The very bottom. Like we didn't plan on that at all.
Well, you did. You're just not taking credit.
I didn't. No, I had no idea. I was forced to do it, dude. How crazy is that? And
that's cool.
Things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, literally on the weekly chart, we launched at the very bottom of the crypto market, which I mean, incredible, absolutely incredible. So, it's just going to make the chart look really good moving into a bull run for sure.
Yes.
So, do you think there's a chance that we actually are seeing the bull run, or do you think is the bottom in, Brandon?
Here's what worries me, man. Here's what worries me, and nothing has changed. Everybody says that the Fed they're going to stop hiking the rates, right? So these little pundits out there are speculating that they're not going to do it because they're afraid to break the back of the economy. But you got to understand too that that's all they've been saying that they want to do. They have to do that. Because I told you yesterday, I think on a phone call, I said, yeah, I think they might want 4 or 5% inflation to be the new 2% inflation.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be okay with that. Now, here's what's scary, Matt. You know what the inflation rate, talked about this on stream yesterday, the federal funds rate was about 20% back in the 70s, right?
Yep.
And then every single time they print money, they have to the federal funds rate decreases, right, while they're printing money, and then they have to increase it, but they can't increase it as much because the amount of damage that it does when they increase it more, it really destroys the economy. So we're getting to the point now where we can't raise the federal funds rate 20% like we could in the 70s.
Yep.
We're getting down to 5%. We're going to be down to 4%, 3%. What happens when they don't have the federal funds rate tool to be able to slow down inflation anymore? And I think that happens pretty soon, man. I think that happens in the next 5 or 10 years, and we're really sitting on a ticking time bomb. Now, to answer your question, could this be the catalyst? Here's what's cool, Matt. We are seeing people de-risk into Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto for the first time. I've never seen it this widespread.
Yeah.
So that is pretty exciting. I don't know what that means for the future because right now I don't know which way's up. Who
So,
knows?
so for our audience, will you talk what is de-risking into Bitcoin and Ethereum? Because here's the thing that's crazy to me. I woke up to a 17% increase in Bitcoin, and I know a lot of money. It takes a lot of money to push things up so hard. What does it mean to de-risk into that? What's the layman's term?
So let's say that you're a day trader and let's say that you're trading cryptocurrency and what you want to do before you go to bed at night to lock in your gains, you want to swap over to USDC.
Yeah.
Because you know that when you wake up in the morning, or hopefully when you wake up in the morning, you're going to have the same value that you did when you went to sleep. So that's de-risking, right? So you're taking your risk away by putting into something that's stable.
Yep.
So what the market is telling us right now, based on these charts, is say we don't have confidence in the banking system. You have a massive amount of outflows of US dollars into cash right now all across the country, or you have a massive amount of outflows of cash into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, into crypto for the first time. So people are now seeing this as a viable hedge against losing their value. And it has taken this scare to kind of wake people up. And it's interesting to see what's happening here.
Well, one of the things that's crazy to me is, it used to be in the past, it was gold, right?
Yep.
Before crypto, it was like, if I'm going to hedge against inflation or I'm going to be in some sort of, in volatile times, being a secure asset. What this says to me is, gold is up definitely a couple points a day, but it used to be back before crypto, gold would go through the roof when there were issues like this. To see Bitcoin and Ethereum bump up this hard, I think you're right. Do you think this leads to a potential decoupling where people, so much money comes over to this because there's an agreement now and consensus that trust is moving over into crypto as essentially definitely a proven store of value?
So this is what we have to remember here, and this is different than 5 years ago, and that is the people that own most of the Bitcoin now are their nation states and institutions, right? Yeah. So when we look at the data for the wallets that hold massive amounts of Bitcoin, they're actually not accumulating right now.
Huh.
They're actually continuing to stay flat or sell off a little bit. So who or what's pumping the market? And that's the retail.
Yeah.
That's the everyday person, because they got the report that the Fed's going to bail these banks out. And then there's also some stuff floating around right now to say that the Federal Reserve's not going to raise interest rates anymore, which I think is not the case. So you have this front running in a way. People are trying to get in because they think this marks the beginning. Guys, I know that everybody's super excited about it, but I don't believe it, man. I don't believe it. I think this is hype, and I think this hype can die down in 30 or 45 days. And then when the Federal Reserve hits us with that fat reality of 25, 50, or 75 basis points, the algorithms are going to chop everybody up and spit them out just like they do every time. So I'm sticking to it because I don't see any end in sight with the Federal Reserve until they start using language that indicate otherwise.
Well, I'm gonna go opposed to your thought for just a second and say this. Sentiment and trust is really, really important, and to see as much unrest as there is socially, to think what a big job that, we can't have social and economic instability, even though we currently do have it. I think that there's a really good chance that, we're going to see over the next several days, more and more regular retail people trying to pull cash out. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to put more pressure on. And you said it earlier, the same thing that the Silicon Valley Bank was doing is what other people are suffering as well, as they over leverage themselves with fractional reserve banking. And the risk of breaking it further, because I agree with you that they would have to address it, but I almost feel like with elections coming up, with all of the things and the pressure from administrations, especially Biden administrations, is we don't need a massive bank failure on our hands.
Right.
And so almost the political pressure that would go on to the Fed and to Yellen and to all these people to say, let's just kick the can down the road. The benefit to us in crypto, though, is that if they do ease up, that we're the beneficiaries of that growth, because as things are paired together, they move together. I just can't imagine them taking the risk of saying that the political, fallout is less valuable than holding the economics to 2%, for example. I almost feel like there's too much, like we don't need another loss, or we don't need another in the losing category. We just kick it down the road, even though it's not a fix. It's a band-aid over a bullet wound. But I think that's only going to drive things more for crypto as being a place of safe haven.
So if I understand you correctly, you're thinking that just in terms of what's coming up on the horizon here, they're going to kick the can down the road. They're going to put a temporary bandage on it, make people feel good.
Yep.
And then, there's a good possibility the Republicans take back the White House,
Yep.
which would be an incredible opportunity for the Democrats to tank the economy at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's a good point. I mean,
Okay.
You don't want to. I mean, so many things have failed on this watch. Do you want to add a massive economic failure to it, or do you want to prop it up until you get to the next? I don't know.
The inflation part is what scares me, because that's the thing that they can't control at this point. And it's like, okay, they kick the can down the road, but what happens when the economy just continues to try to take off? Like, what tools do they have to slow it down at this point?
None.
How far can they kick the can down the road?
Well, and it feels like this is the Carter administration 2.0, in my opinion. The question is, will it create a new Reagan? Because if you think about what Carter did, and then when Reagan came in, and I almost feel like there's a possibility that DeSantis becomes the next Reagan.
Yeah.
Because I do think I think they'll do anything they can to prop this thing up, to try to make it through. But it's going to crash, and we know this. I mean, fiat ultimately is going to zero. And guys, that's the coolest thing about crypto. And do not forget Hart's Law. If you're bonded with these pairs that are moving up, I mean, why did we have altcoin summer? Partly because we printed $9 trillion. And if this is a safe haven and more people are seeing it there, we get to be the beneficiaries and get to ride this with it. But this leads to, I think, the ultimate renaissance, which is we don't use government dollars. We don't use, fiat dollars. We use crypto. And we've essentially established our own store of value and our own means of exchange ultimately. And then Texas independence, baby. Come on.
Yeah, man, there are so many moving parts with all of this. And Matt, I'll tell you this. I think we are just perfectly placed and perfectly poised to do really, really cool things here in the next 5 or 10 years, man. I mean, it's just all served up right now on a silver platter for us.
Yep. So, all right, I'm going to transition to this because I want your commentary. Forrest started his own channel called Texan Tailgate, and I was watching last night, and it was fun. I had way more fun on his channel than I've ever had on your channel.
I know, man. And
you were on it. I couldn't believe it.
Well, you know what? And that's expected. I actually don't want people to have a good time when they're listening to me.
Well, you're effective.
Well, they already have to look at me, so I'm just like, the listening part, that might be a stretch. I don't know why they keep showing up. But I will say this, Forrest, congratulations, but you didn't click live for 45 minutes.
That was an L.
And I asked him, I said, did you have a candlelight dinner with David Lee while you guys were talking to yourself without an audience?
They're like, why is nobody here?
We were just whispering sweet nothings into the microphone, man.
And everybody's like, Brandon, why would you say such a horrible thing? He's so embarrassed. No, Forrest can handle it. And Forrest expects that from me, right?
I would expect nothing less.
Okay, good.
Am I right, Forrest? Brandon is everybody's big brother.
Right? Yeah, definitely. Man, there'll be times maybe we'll share stories along the way, but man, he's been my big brother many times. I'll say that.
Me too. So, Forrest, what do you have on tap for us here coming up in the future of the Texan Tailgate channel?
Well, so the Texan Tailgate right now, we're accepting anyone who wants to be a part of the Texan Tailgate. So if you have any interest at all, just drop a comment on one of the only video on there right now, and we will look at it and reach back out to you. That is the best way to get in contact. Additionally, you can email me directly at my work email, which is info@tribalsoundsproduction.com. I'd be happy to schedule you that way. We just want to bring on anyone who wants to talk about anything DeFi related, or if they have any questions for founders, anything that we can align stars up with. Maybe if yourself or Rags wants to come on, we would love to have you guys anytime for for other newbies like myself who might have questions that
Yeah.
we could get answered for them.
You know what it feels like, Brandon?
What?
The Texan tailgate feels like a little bit like the happy hour and a little bit of the fun of Hexo. Like it's a little combination of the two. You see that?
Yeah, I like it, man. I mean, this is what we need. This is the type of stuff we need. We need to spread the word. And you know what? Quite frankly, Matt, and to be quite frank with the chat here, there's some things that Matt and I just have our hands tied with. There are things that we can't talk about. So it's real nice to have the community kind of pick up that slack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and Forrest, what I'm trying to do is to get Brandon to say something nice about you.
Nope.
Can't do it. Can't do it. He's got nothing nice to say.
Oh,
Look at that face, though. His eyes say it all, man.
I know. And yeah, it's a effing hangout too. It's just so cool, and that's the thing. I think it gives a richness to the community as we just extend it out. Because at the end of the day, we don't forget who brought us to the dance, and that's Richard Hart.
Yes.
And so that's the coolest thing. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, Brandon or Forrest, but did you see Meet Kevin? He showed his face next to the Silicon Valley Bank sign, and there was a sticker of Hex on the side of the sign.
No, whoever
did
did
not
that,
see
you know,
that.
I think so. I'm curious. Hodprol, did you do that? Somebody clip this and ask her.
No,
Because
no,
I
it
wonder
wasn't. It
who
wasn't
did it?
Photoshop. It was for real.
No. Who went there and put it there?
Oh, stuck it there. Well, here's what's funny. So I had a guy reach out to me who lives right in that area in Silicon Valley, and he sent me another sign that had another Hex sticker on it.
That whoever did that, I want somebody to take credit for that because that's brilliant.
Oh
Somebody thought, okay, there's going to be a lot of media coverage and a lot of people pointing their cameras that way, and they slapped a Hex sticker. Well done. Whoever
Yeah.
did that, well done.
Props.
Hexyquin has pretty much defined you, Rags, right, with this comment.
Oh, Rags is the biggest a-hole with the heart of gold. Silence, you village idiot. Okay.
Do not like or subscribe. Oh my gosh. Forrest, dude, thanks for sharing a part of you with all of this. I'm super excited about your channel. Thanks for sharing your musical talents. I'm sure we'll get to learn more about you and your testimony and all that stuff too. I loved your outro last night. Do you mind doing a Don't Mess with Texas outro or something that we could do for this with your face in the mic?
Let's see if we can do this real quick. I'm going to pull up some. It won't let me share audio the same as it normally does. Let me see. You got audio? You just play anything that's like rock based if you have it on there.
Okay, hang on.
Let me deepen my voice real quick.
Brand, hang on. Let me find it. This is good. We'll do the outro to this one. Let me find the music here. This is the crap music that comes with this. Hang on one second here. Dude, I got to have this shows you how bad.
You got some Southern rock in there, I think.
Yeah.
Is there? Oh, yeah, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have tuned in to Crypto Heartbeat, where we featured Rags to Riches and Forrest Baldwin from Texan Tailgate. Come back and subscribe for more. It's too much.
Do not mess with Texas.
Do not mess with it.